free. Live from the shed.
Yeah, Southern Fried Soundstage. This is the Southern Patriots podcast, and we have snow in Northwest Georgia. Snow. It is snowing. Podbean is now up and live, and everybody else, all streams look like they're flowing in the same direction. Happy to have you here on a Friday night, a snowy Friday night. Not often we can say that. It was predicted. Now the question is how much. We hear from 1 to 3 inches, which that's nothing in the grand scheme of things. But people here will kind of go crazy. I went by the store, and yes, it was packed. Yes, it is a Friday evening, but it was packed. I don't know if they were buying the milk and the bread and all the other stuff, but people kind of get a little crazy about it when it starts snowing. But it was pretty. I stepped out to come to the studio, and I said, oh, we tell the wife, it's snowing. So it's a pretty white snow. It's just a fluffy, not crazy white snow. Hope you got to watch Miss Jenna Turnipseed earlier this afternoon. I appreciate her so very much for being on with us. She will be back. She is a friend of the podcast. And her husband and son are getting into racing. So she wants to introduce us and talk about racing. So, our racing hour and dirt track and dirt report, all that is doing really good. We got some interviews on the way with that. Looking forward to it. So yeah, just a little news and notes. Feeling better. The voice is still not there. I have to take a little breaks because I strain it And so back-to-back shows are really hard. Last night, after we did the two shows, yeah, yeah, man. Sorry you missed it. Go back and watch the recording. I think you'll enjoy. It was a wide-ranging talk. I didn't call it interview. We're just hanging out. Wide-ranging. We talked about a lot of stuff, and y'all pray for her. But yeah, back-to-back shows last night. I went to eat a little bite after I got done. My throat was actually hurting. It was hard to eat. That's the pressure I'm under right now. I want to broadcast, and then when I do, my voice goes kind of out. Then I have pain. Then I, give it a break and come back. So just taking it slow and easy, not trying to tax it out. But I've been so jonesing for the music show. I have been being sick has just been frustrating because I really wanted to get back to the music show. I'm going to start a new feature tonight too. Uh, Album spotlight. I have selected 3 albums from the stack of stuff. This is my vault. Dean's got his vault. Mine is albums, and it's not, it's nothing like some people's vault, but there's a story behind each one, and so we'll talk about the album. So that'll be here in just a bit, but do want to wish everybody a happy weekend. In the morning, Cornbread Man and Biscuit Boy morning show. Or Saturday morning, whatever we want to call it. We're kind of developing. That's kind of our morning show. We go live about 8:30, and we'll go for an hour and a half or something like that. I might be on earlier than that if I can get up. If the throat's good, might do a Patriot morning show in the morning, talking about all the different things that are going on politically. Hey, Don Lemon got arrested, and the left is going crazy. I got to throw a little bit of this in before we talk music, because I'm a little bit behind. But Don Lemon, goes in and just disrupts, blows up the service in a church, along with all of these cohorts and terrorists and domestic terrorists and all that. And they think that it's a violation of their free speech to be able to go. They think they can go up, the law's on their side, to go up in a church and terrorize a congregation. I didn't see it, but I read the quote by Megyn Kelly. Said, "Can you imagine if I did something like that? What would happen to me? Can you imagine what the left would be wanting my head? You can't do that. It's crazy." Yeah, I know it, Brother Cook. It's snowing. God bless you, man. Hey, we're going to do another Def Leppard. If you can hang around for a little bit, we're going to do another Def Leppard talk tonight, along with other albums. But yeah, man, I'm gonna try to stay warm. I am. I got a little coffee. Got a little coffee in the cup. I'm just doing the solo cup tonight. I'm too lazy to get the coffee cup, I guess. But yeah, it is snowing, man. We live like, a long way from each other, like one street over. Me and Cook have lived close to each other our whole lives, and went to school together, rode the bus together, played sports together, went to concerts together, all that good stuff. Yeah, he went and was disrupted, encouraged them, being sarcastic with the pastor about protests for shutting the congregation, calling them not Christian. I can tell you that I would have drugged them people out as the pastor. I have no problem in saying that whatsoever. I wouldn't have had to done it because the men of the congregation would have drugged them out. We're a little bitty. We might have had to make 3 trips. We're a small congregation, but we'd have drug them out. There wouldn't have been no negotiation about it either. You're not going to do that in our church. You're just not going to do it. We're not going to allow that kind of terrorism to happen. Yeah, accusing them of supporting us. I think the pastor. Well, he has a connection to Noam or whatever. It doesn't matter. Church services are off. You just don't do it. Don't do it. So yeah, I wanted to get that in there because that has been burning me up all week, or at least last few days since that happened. The main one, it was over hollering at kids and stuff. He might have had an imprint of 5 fingers on his face. I don't mind saying that either. I'm gonna tell you what, you're not gonna hurt my kids, man. You're not gonna. I can't believe people let that go on. Like, you're just sitting there. No, not gonna do it. Yeah, Fulton County, they all tore up down there. Yeah, oh my gosh, they come down here and got 700 boxes, and FBI's involved. We got the big Epstein data dump, 3 million documents. Well, that'll take some time to go through. Thousands of videos and pictures. Wow. This weekend, they're going to be tearing through that. I don't know if it dropped yet or not. Maybe it has, maybe it hasn't. I've been busy this afternoon. I didn't get a chance to check in, so I don't know. Well, hey, this is the soundstage. It is not political talk, but I wanted to throw that in. So if you're here and you're like, I don't want to talk about politics, I'm getting my voice back, though. I couldn't do that a few days ago. Yeah, I don't want to talk about politics. I want to talk music. Well, then we're going to do that. We're going to talk. We're going to talk music. And you may not like the band. It's okay, though. It's okay. Talk about the music. You know, I've been watching a couple of videos this weekend on Jeff Lepp. A couple of the folks, they talked about their biggest, it was a video about their biggest moment on the tour they did with Motley, the big shows. I really liked Rick Savage's comments. His whole family, son-in-laws and those that's engaged and all that. The whole family was at the Chicago concert. He talked about personally for him that was the best. I can dig it, man, to have your family there and doing that all these years. I just got my plaque. I left it at work. I just got my plaque for 35 years. It actually is not official for 12 more days, but I just got my 35-year plaque from my company and a gift. I'm looking through all these gifts. I'm gonna use it for I'm going to use it to add something to the studio of it. I believe they have some really nice monitors, and I need a fourth monitor. So that's what I think I'm going to order with it. With my 35 years, putting it back into the podcast. You know, I won't be there another 35. I just hope I can get about 5. I'm shooting for 40 years and step out. I'll still be working the business, the podcast, whatever else. Financials, who knows? Security, who knows? We're going to be busy building on the studio and growing this. So, Def Leppard, you know, we got through the last part. We got through to the tragedy, which was the death of Steve Clark. We talked about that quite extensively in the last show. It is still very hard. I'll say it again. I appreciate the band keeping him a part of the shows. Keeping him a part of, you know, on stage. You see his video images and stuff. They never have. I kind of wish they would, you know, throw Pete in there a little bit more. But you know, I get it. He got fired, but they still give him credit. But the death of Steve Clark. Someone I was reading a lady's comments that dated Rick Allen for 3 years, and she showed some pictures. Some I had never seen before. That was from her personal collection just a couple, 3 days ago. And she said something I had never heard it said that way, because she's an observer. She's inside the family there for a little while. And then, you know, that's what happens. Relationships are over in rock and roll bands. She wasn't to be the wife or one of the wives or whatever. But she just said this about Pete and Steve. She said Pete was always happy and Steve was always sad. Now, he did cut up and do some stuff and practical jokes and all that. But she showed a picture of him sitting, eating at a hotel or something. But it was really poignant, the look on his face. So his dad was tough guy. And I just don't think he ever really had a good relationship with his dad. And, you know, it's just so very, you know, heartbreaking, and it's such a tragedy, the addictions, and this one, you know, took him down. So they take the break from the 15-month tour of Hysteria, and they get to go to work on Adrenalize, what would become Adrenalize. They didn't know that at the time, and Steve is getting worse. Now, I also read this a couple of days ago about this, and there is some validity, I would think, about something that someone said, that the worst thing you can do is give an addict a time away, because that just gives them more time. They feel more guilty. And there is that possibility, as they were trying to help Steve out and gave him the 6 months to just go get healthy, that really didn't enable that. It just caused him to have more time to booze and drugs or whatever. And of course, they believe I think his heart gave out or whatever. He just really went downhill. But maybe there is something to be said for that. That's not a shot at the band. I think they just didn't know what to do. I mean, it was hard to watch it, and they felt like the pressure was too much in studio. Steve never really cared for the studio anyway. He was not a studio guy. He wanted to be playing live. That's his gig. But he would do it, but it wasn't his favorite thing. The pressure is very hard in studios, especially with a guy like Mutt Lang directing the show. And but Steve endured and he got through. But when he come in for what would become Adrenalize, he just couldn't. It was like Pete, where Pete just couldn't cut it for Pyromania. He come in the studio just not able to do anything. Steve just couldn't get anything on tape or digital by that time, whatever. He couldn't get anything down that was usable. So it was just not working. It is the only album in their history, that was recorded by 4 people instead of 5, because Steve was not a part of the album. Now, however, they gave him credit on 3 or 4 songs on the album because there were some things there. One of the songs is a remake. They kind of brushed it up for the album, and it had been out there for a while. So Steve definitely was a part of that one, but he got part of, I think, at least 2 other songs. We'll look at that in a minute. The duties fell to Phil Collin, who definitely played both parts. He didn't play one guitar; he played 2, and in the studio he played his parts, and he thought, what would Steve play here, and the style he played, and I'm pretty sure he used his guitars. And as I said last time, he wanted to go forward one guitarist. They said, no, Phil, we've always been a 2 guitar band, and we're going to stay that way. And 35 years later, it's 34, 35 years later. This is really amazing. Vivian Campbell came in 92. I've been at my company for 35. So 34 years later, Vivian is still there, and that we talked quite a bit about that last time. So they go to work on the album, and I think with everything that was going on, it's quite amazing. Now, they were riding the high wave of obviously several successful albums, with the last one being to the roof. Pyromania was multi-platinum. Hysteria doubled or tripled, went 2 times or more over that. I mean, because it sold a lot. It comes in less time in this as far as length of album. They released a lot of singles, just like they did with Hysteria, 6, which could have been 7, because I think Love and Affection, they were thinking about it, but decided to get off the road and get to the next album. And hey, maybe all that time on the road was hard on Steve as well. Steve, 15 months is a long time. That's grueling. Think about that. They just kept going and going. Again, they used Weisler Studios back in those days in Amsterdam, and also Joe's Garage. I watched. If you've never seen Joe's video about his home studio, that's pretty cool too, and saves them a lot of money. Of course, now they record bits and send them over the internet and But they have recorded, and other bands have as well, in Joe's studio, because the studio costs were so high. So they were already working around that. This album, which they still used, they were still using the same artist, and it has a neat look to it. The same writing of Def Leppard, but Adrenalize became the name, and I like the name. I like that name. So it is only 45 minutes, which that's a lot. I get it. A lot of albums used to be only 35 to 45 minutes, but it comes in less, whereas Hysteria went over in 60 minutes, 67, something like that. 45 minutes that this one was. Still with Mercury, their own Bludgeon Raffola. I've always liked that name that they had, and the producer was Mike Shipley. And I worked with Mike Shipley for years, God rest his soul, but that was the engineer. And then right after this, they obviously put out the Retroactive, which was a huge hit as well. So even though the Seattle sound was coming in, we're in the 90s now, and it did get hard for Leppard. They've survived all that. The strength of them to get through all that, really unscathed, is pretty amazing. Through tragedy and death, and they were able to get some radio hits out of this, and they did a heck of a job. When the album first came out, there was a lot of people kind of took it to task because obviously it does not have the same feel as Hysteria. It's different. and some thought it might be a little rushed with all that was going on, and that they didn't write. One of the songs, be it "Tear It Down," was kind of put back through the paces in the studio. It had been a B side off Hysteria, but I've always liked the song, and I liked that they included it. They definitely got the summer shed hit with "Let's Get Rocked." It was a dynamic song. They still play it on the radio today. I heard it just the other day on the radio, and I listened to on satellite radio. I listen to Hair Nation a lot, and it definitely gets its airtime on there, as a lot of Leppard songs do. Off of this album, I don't know if they play another one on Hair Nation or not. If they have, I haven't heard it. If they did, it would be "Make Love Like a Man," the number 2 selection on the album. I don't. If they have, I haven't heard it. But "Let's Get Rocked," I have. Kind of a neat video, and it definitely did well. When I went to the concerts, I saw them 4 or 5 times on this tour. Where I'd seen them a bunch of times on Hysteria, and it might have been more than that. I mean, I always forget. Like, I know I've seen them at least 4 to 5 times because they would do the passes and come back through. And I always stayed. I didn't travel too far away, but I always would travel Atlanta, Knoxville, Chattanooga, and maybe one other place. But as often as they would play them, I would go see them. And they were spread out enough where it was financially be able to do that. At this time, Mutt Lange was working with Bryan Adams, which I didn't bring it with me, and it's not that album, but I have a Bryan Adams album I was going to bring, but I didn't tonight. Which obviously everybody worked with through those years and still today make big hits. So Steve had been in and out of rehab. He just couldn't get anything in the studio. He was involved with 6 of the songs on the album. But again, in September of 1990, they had the band meeting and said, "Hey, listen, you gotta take a break." And they put him on a 6-month leave of absence to kind of battle the addiction, get healthy, write some stuff, record some stuff. He died 4 months later in January 1991. I mentioned that last show, which I wish was last week, but last show, it's devastated. But they kept working. So you just keep going forward. And between April and December, it says online that they had 90% of the album recorded. And what I was going to say is early on, I went and bought a midnight sale. It still made the midnight sale. If I remember right, I believe that midnight sale also offered Guns albums, Use Your Illusions 1 and 2, because I believe I bought Leppard, and my friend who went, he bought the Guns album CDs. I'm almost certain of that. If I'm wrong, you can pop it in the chat and tell me. But I'm almost certain that was the gigs on that. So, so we went to the midnight sale, and I think I told this when we came back. We were listening to the Leppard, the Adrenalize album. We were listening to that in his truck, really loud, and got the cops called. I then went in the house, and they got pulled over on the next street. And they grilled them for about 20 minutes, didn't find anything wrong, and then told them to go home. But we weren't using the best judgment. We were so happy to have the albums. And it was, and I told you, I have to listen to albums several times, even individual songs, to kind of get the fullness of it, to really absorb how I like it, what I like, what I don't like, or whatever. Early on, when I was riding home, we popped it in as soon as we got in the truck. And I mean, I thought I really liked it. As I really listened to it, it is a little ballad heavy. And I was a little bit. It took me a while to warm up to Make Love Like a Man. I don't know. There's parts of it I like the groove. I just didn't really care for the song that much at first. Let's Get Rock, I liked some of the ballads, of course. Tear It Down, I was a big fan of that. So my first thought when I heard the album was, this is, it's a really good album. I'm glad to have it. It's not as good as I wished it was. Saw them. They were excellent on tour. Vivian fit right in. I saw them in Atlanta. The first time I saw them on that tour was in Atlanta at the amphitheater. And the interaction between Phil and Vivian was already doing very well. They always knew each other. Their interaction on stage was real good. And, they were younger back then, so they were kind of still, they didn't do in the round, obviously, at the shed, but they were running, still running on each side back and forth. And he fit right in. But it was a sad show in that Steve was gone. It's just when it really hit, like Steve is really gone. I mean, it hurts. But then what I want to say about that is years later, I went back and I really just gave this album another. It's not that I didn't like it. I did. I just thought it seemed a little rushed to me, and maybe in some ways it was. But with everything going on, I think they did a heck of a job. I think it did a heck of a job. This album sold, I believe, 3 million. And again, they're riding the wave. I think I'm right on that. If I'm wrong, you can let me know. But I think from my memory, this album hit three times platinum. And if I'm wrong, I'll correct myself. Which it's pretty amazing. Now, obviously, Hysteria has sold, I don't know, something like 15 million or something. But still, that's a heck of an effort with all that was going on. They held their own that summer tour. The shows were well attended. I was at several of them. They were on the radio. Things were going good, even with Seattle bearing down their necks and things changing and music going dark and all kinds of crazy stuff. Some good stuff, don't get me wrong. But it was writing on the wall for a lot of bands for a few years. Bands like Warrant. It was really hard. I mean, it was really hard on those bands. Some bands, Tesla, even Tesla, they took a break. They had problems. They took a break. They didn't do anything for a while. But Leppard was able to get through. It was still tough, but they were able to get through. Adrenalize, was that Bridge Retroactive came out. It was a good time to release that with a couple of songs and all the, a lot of the hits. And, they trucked on to Slang. And we'll talk about Slang on another day. Now, about the songs, of course, Let's Get Rocked led off the album or CD. This was, Mutt Lange actually got a part in this too, along with everybody in the band except Rick Allen, who very rarely gets any songwriting credits, but he has before, but not on this one. Heaven Is, which I remember that. I like the song. Clark, and by the way, Clark did not get any credit on the Let's Get Rocked, but he did on Heaven Is with everybody else, including Mutt Lange. And of course, Rick Allen did not. Make Love Like a Man, which was number 3, second single, I believe. Clark did get credit on this one with Colin, Elliott, and Lange again. So Lange was still giving them things. So he gets credit for that. Tonight, another ballad. Clark also was on this song with a credit, Colin, Elliott, Lange, and Savage. And then this song, The White Lightning, became the epitaph for Steve Clark on the album. When I think about this time frame, and I think about the death of Steve Clark, I think about this song, which is very haunting to me, and also Tesla's song that became about Steve Clark. And this song is very long. It has a lot of range to it. Of course, he was known as White Lightning for the white outfits and just all over the place. I like the song. It's hard to listen to. I'll be honest. It's hard to listen to. I like it, but it is still very hard to listen to that song. So that's what I say, especially then, very hard. Today, I can listen to it. It still makes me think about him. But later on, I can appreciate it more. So it's kind of like, when you have somebody pass like that, it's like the funeral song. I mean, really, this album has Steve. It's like he's hovering over it. That's why it's really a hard album. It has a fun album, but you got to give them credit. I mean, they're grieving, and it's really good. A good album. It's a fantastic album, really. Stand Up, Kick Love into Motion. I remember the video for that very well. Clark also gets credit on this, Colin, Elliott, Lange. And then Personal Property, which wasn't as well known. never really got any kind of airplay. Colin Elliott Lang Savage. Another one they still play a lot. Have you ever needed someone so bad? Colin Elliott Lang. I Want to Touch You, which occasionally comes back on. I've heard it on radio a little bit. Rick Allen actually gets credit here with Clark, Colin Elliott Lang. Then the song Tear It Down, I was always a fan. And I always said, why they didn't release it as a single. I thought it fit very nicely for for Hysteria, but they decided not to do that. Clark, the last one he gets credit for, Colin Lang Savage. And I like Tear It Down. I still like it. And you still hear that on radio, satellite radio. And I have been watching YouTube's, and it pop up as a video. It still gets a lot of play. Then bonus tracks for the Japanese release was Miss You in a Heartbeat, another good song, and She's Too Tough. Both of those were bonus tracks. In the deluxe edition of this album, they as well put some live stuff out there, which I think I bought that. I think I did. And there were some other songs they did, like the Rolling Stones song, You Can't Always Get What You Want, Little Wing by Jimi Hendrix Experience, Now I'm Here, Queen cover. I mean, they did some other stuff. So there was a lot of B-sides, Two Steps Behind, a B-side, Too Late for Love, live. So there's quite a bit there. And so you get that. When you go to the personnel, it really hits hard because Clark is not listed. But they do list some other people. Anyway, there's your album. That's Adrenalize. It will always be considered a bridge album, I believe, because they did come back and try to recreate the magic on Euphoria. And hey, Slang was not well received at first, but after 30 odd years, Slang actually gets a lot of credit now. Some really good song writing. And I do like a number of songs on the album. Don't like everything. I don't think and I'm not saying any of it's horrible, but I do like the song Slang. But there's some other songs on there that I like. They tried something. Now it gets a lot of credit. Back then it didn't. And then you go into Def Leppard Future with X and mini albums, and they've actually come back and gotten a little bit better. They just released a new song, As We Know, and some liked it, some didn't. I thought it was well done. And they do have an album's worth of material, I think, ready to go. They're working on it. If it's not done, it's getting close. And I think at some point, I'm hoping this summer, you'll see a new Def Leppard album. And for all the people that, want them to go back to the high and dry days, it's just never going to happen. That's not who they are. You got to appreciate them for what they write, the style they do, and the seasons that they've went through. I did not buy X. I'll just say it. I did not. I've listened to some selections off of it. I did not buy the Sparkle Lounge album. I did not buy the covers album, although there's some stuff on there I like. I did not buy the Symphony album. A couple of them I like. I did buy the album, not the Halos album, the album before that. I did buy that and Halos. So yeah, there was a time frame where I just didn't really care for that direction. A little country-ish, popish. Didn't care for that as much. But hey, they were still putting out material. You got to give them credit. So this really, at this point, concludes for Leppard what people say is the great years. After this, really, they don't include anything. Maybe retroactive just because. But after this, it's considered. A lot of people don't even listen to it. I think they've come back really strong in the last couple of albums. But let's be honest, nothing's going to match, and they're not even trying. This time frame they were in, it was their time to be at the top of the pinnacle, and they did it. If Steve hadn't died, you wonder what would be different about that. I think this is not a knock at Vivian because that's not his fault. But Steve Clark's absence from that band is still is still noticeable. Steve Clark was the riff master. They've never had that type of riffing going on in that band since then. And it was just his gift to the band. And it's just different. And it'll always be different. So even Adrenalize is different because he's not one note, from my understanding, not one note of Steve Clark is on that album. So it is a different album. That's why it sounded different to me. And you know, he died, and that's the death of that version of the band. You can't recreate it. They became a new entity. It's a very good unit, a good corporation. They did great. Vivian has been long lasting. They have continued to tour, and they're touring. They're doing the Vegas residency, and they're doing a big tour, summer tour, and God bless them. You know, Joe's voice is not the best like mine right now. Might get better. His won't, but he still hangs in there. They probably should have tuned down a half step, but it's their business. They still put on a good show. Although Joe, please change that hairstyle. And don't color your hair no more. I saw that too. So if you like Adrenalize, you know, pop it in the chat. If you don't, you don't. But that is Adrenalize. Now we're going to move on to another band next week. And it's supposed to be next week. We'll still always come back to Leppard. But we're going to go to another band next week. And I haven't decided. It's down between 3 bands that we're going to talk about them. But I do want to do album spotlight. So I started with, I talked about this album quite a bit. This album is very special to me, beyond the fact that it's Def Leppard. It's, it's Pyromania. There's so many hits on it. It's not a bad track on this album. Not even close. In fact, my favorite song, they're singing it live again, and it was Buried under the second side, Coming Under Fire. Love that song. But I like the whole album. You can see the back of it. It's a great, if you're a Leppard fan, Rock Till You Drop. Wow, what a way to kick off an album. Photograph, one of the best. This is still a huge part of their stage show is Photograph. Stage Fright, one of my favorites. They kicked off the Hysteria tour with that song. I love to hear the recorded versions of that tour just for that. I've always liked Stage Fright. Too Late for Love, very different haunting kind of song. I just heard that today on Hair Nation. Die Hard the Hunter, they've been up all night watching one of those war movies. Can't remember which one right now. That's where they got the idea. Foolin', Joe hates the video. I think it was Foolin'. He hates the video. It's a great song. Rock of Ages, Action Not Words, Coming Under Fire, and Billy's Got a Gun. Great album. But this album, this is the first time that I pulled this album out of the vault in a long, long time. And I'm going to hang it up in the studio. And it has special meaning for me because my best friend was later murdered. And me and him, and I'm so glad I got a hold of this, me and him had a lot of albums together. That's what you do as buddies, right? We were like brothers. We grew up together. And we bought a lot of albums together. We would trade albums back and forth to listen to. We lived side by side. We shared albums. We listened to them together. We shared them. When he died, was murdered, I never saw any of those other albums again. I'm just thankful that I had this album at the time at my house. Me and him, his name is Robert Hodges. I called him Robin. We mowed a yard, cut the grass, we will say. We cut the grass to get the money to buy this album. And it will always be with me. In fact, I'll probably bury it with me. It's a really hard thing to talk about. And I've not pulled it out in a long time. I've never showed it online or to anybody really. I've never showed this album till tonight to anybody but my wife. My sons may have seen it. I had to search for it. It was so hidden. I dare say it's been decades. We were 21 years old when he was murdered. I'm 60 years old. And I'm telling you, this album has not been out of the vault in a long, long time. It's got, is it perfect? It's actually in pretty good shape. I still got the packaging inside. It got played. It's an album. We played it. So it's not perfect, but it's not terrible either. But that's one of the album spotlights tonight, more from sentimental reasons. What I really wanted to do was highlight two other albums. I wanted to share that with you. Two more albums. And I'm going to do this one first. And I'm kind of an odd guy sometimes, but this one I actually have. I have albums that's never been unsealed. But watching Leppard on the Hysteria tour, this is how I was introduced to Tesla. And I told you a couple of shows ago, I came home from that show. I'd never heard of them. I just hadn't. I didn't have, we didn't have internet. I didn't know who Tesla was. And my first thoughts was I liked the music. I'm not sure about that lead singer. I remember he had on jeans, cowboy boots, and a white shirt, unbuttoning out white shirt. I think it hung to his knees. But I liked what I heard, and it kind of stuck in my brain a little bit. When I come home, a few weeks later, not long, one of those Columbia record deals came through, and I ordered 12 albums, and that's one of them I ordered. And boy, am I glad I did. Became as I listened to the album. Hey, Dusty from Ohio. God bless you. Dusty will be special guest with us a week from Saturday. And we're going to talk race and dirt from Ohio. But I came home, as I said, from the Leppard show, bought, ordered. I got to, you get so many for a penny, right? Then you get on the plan, you have to pay for them. So, I got this for a part of a penny. Brand new. This was their debut album. It used to be called City Kid. And this is, of course, I'm trying to think of the producers. I know them, Steve, oh my God, Steve Thompson and Michael Barbario, and Mechanical Resonance. And of course, the Nikola Tesla theme, that's how they got their name. Glad you're excited, my friend. Glad you're excited. We're glad you're excited. That makes us excited. This album does not have a bad song on it either. Not even close. Now, I told you, of course, I was grieving during this time because of the death of my friend. So on the back of the album, there's a picture of the band. And you have side one up here. I'll list them in a minute. But right here, side two. This album is so heavy with hits. But that little song right there changes. That song, as always, because music is important. You identify with stuff. You are touched by it. You're moved by it. And when I heard that song, I'll just say it. I'll just say it this way. You can call me whatever you want. I don't care. I got people coming here, the manly mans and men should never cry. Stuff it. I don't care. I can't listen to Changes without a tear coming to my eye. Why? Because of the death of my best friend, my brother. And that song, I can't. It's almost tearing me up right now. So I'm gonna quit talking about it. So you can call me what you want. Weak, I don't care. Miss my friend, Cook. I don't know if you're still out there. You know what I'm talking about, brother. But yeah, easy come, easy go. Coming at you live. Love the twin guitar attack on that one. Getting better, and just this whole album. Too Late for Love, Rock Me to the Top, We're No Good Together, a heavy ballad. That has a lot of deep meaning too. Of course, relational. Then, man, side two. They put side two. The first song, Modern Day Cowboy. Man, that song rocks. And that just played. I hear it all the time on Hair Nation. Of course, Changes, Little Susie remake, Love Me. And that song doesn't get the credit it deserves. Cover Queen, I sang before my eyes. Those are the lesser known songs, but trust me, they're giants to me. It's a great album cover, by the way. I love, some albums, they look stupid. Really, right? this is a great album cover. What y'all think? I mean, you've got the electricity, got the little sphere Earth thing there with Tesla, with the behind there. That's what would get me to buy an album back in the day in the record store. And then you get they're so young there. I mean, where's my buddy there? Right in the middle, Frank Hannon, genius. Of course, this was back in the day when before they had the breakup of the guitar player and Troy's not playing with them anymore, but the core of the band is still there. And we already did a Tesla show, a couple of them, but I wanted to show that because when I was flipping through the vault and I said, what would I pull out? I had the third choice was a back and forth, but I wanted to show the Pyromania and Tesla. So if you're gonna go back in the time machine, if you don't have this album or CD or Blu-ray or whatever you got, and you like rock and roll, you should have this in the collection. So Photograph or Pyromania, excuse me, and then Tesla, Mechanical Resonance. All right. I decided to go for my third and last album spotlight tonight with one of my all-time favorite bands, and that is AC/DC. Now, I have said, I forgot I had this, actually. It's been in the vault a long time. The album is in actually pretty good shape. Oh, there's one scratch. There's two. This one got played a lot. I like all their albums, some better more than others. No, it's not Back in Black. I'm a big Bon Scott fan. And all the way back to the 74 Jailbreak, all that. Well, even before that, I like some of his stuff before AC/DC, but I like Bon Scott. God rest his soul, too. And, I miss him. Hey, my wife gave a like. She's watching. That's unusual. Thank you, Lynn. But this was the album that got banned, remember, in America at one point, right? Banned. And it is AC/DC. What do you think it is? Can you guess by the back? Can you guess? What's this album? That's all you get to see. What is that? What was that AC/DC album? And that actually is iconic, that picture, because they spent a lot of time in Miami hanging out. They were touring like crazy, recording and everything, but they got to do some, got to get around the pool and with their girlfriends and all that stuff. Anybody want to take a stab at it? Y'all quiet tonight. It is. Yes, it's AC/DC. It is Dirty Deeds, Done Dirt Cheap. Absolutely killer album. Thank you, Dusty, as well for the lot. Controversial song. Come on. It's AC/DC. Like, they've been messing with the FCC ever since they've been a band. They've been able to get everything they wanted to get past them. And Bon Scott was a genius at phrasing stuff where they could do that. But that led off the album Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Love at First Feel. Yes, Dirty Deeds, baby. Dirty Deeds. I mean, is that not a great song? I love that song. Forgive me for what I'm fixing to say. And I heard this on Hair Nation the other day. I ain't heard it in a while. Big Balls. Great, Jake. You take care of her. She's awesome people. I know you will. Help promote her. I appreciate you letting me know. Big Balls is on the radio. I'll probably get kicked out of the AC/DC fan club. It's a goofy kind of song. When I was young, I laughed at it. Today, I'm like, I'm not really into that, to be honest. Rocker, Problem Child. Oh, I like that one. There's going to be some rock. It ain't no fun waiting around to be a millionaire. Right On. Boy, that great ballad. Right On. And Squealer, which is actually, that song never gets played. Honestly, it never gets played. Outside of Dirty Deeds, that's my favorite song on this album. Does anybody have that in their collection? Dirty Deeds, Done Dirt Cheap. It's kind of a, they got the hotel there again. Kind of, I would say it's my favorite album cover, but I know the background story of the hotel a little bit. So they kind of went a little cheesy. They didn't do a whole lot with that, but I don't think they cared. Um, well, thank you, Jake. I might be from Mississippi, but I have a lot of people around the world watching me. A few people in the great state of Georgia. We'll try to promote her and get her in the Senate. Lucretia Hughes is one of my friends. She's from Georgia. Well, thank you, Jake, and thank you for helping her. Let me just say this. I think they're ganging up on her. And I meant what I said. She's got my vote. I'm not saying other candidates are not good or worthy, but my gut told me. I prayed about it, and I just feel like she's the one. And she's going to be a longtime friend of the show. But thank you for that. Jake, you got Dirty Deeds in your album collection. Do you even have an album collection? Dirty Deeds. They still play it. It's funny to me that they banned it for a while, which really hurt it. I don't know what the album sales was in this at the time. You have CDs, okay. I don't know. You're old? Well, I'm old too. But my gosh, man, I'm old enough to have some albums. I don't know how many albums it sold because it should have been bigger, honestly. But they were releasing an album like every few months. I mean, they were touring, recording. I mean, that's what they did. And, so this album got released in other places, but it got held up here for a bit. And so anyway, 1976. So right after this, in 77, 78, 79, they put out, like 3 monster albums. Yeah, Jake. Amen. I did hear that. I was fixed to walk out to go to the store, and I saw that news release. But the mother that played in Home Alone, or the woman who played the mother in Home Alone, passed today, 76, I think, or something like that. God bless her family. And of course, if you're on Podbean, you can't see the albums that I'm putting up, but I'm trying to talk through them. But did you have Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap in your album collection? Or in your 8-track, or tape, or CD, or Blu-ray? I don't care. But this was bought, if I remember right, and I'm getting old, if I remember right, I bought this at the record store. Man, that is such a great memory. I still do it at a record collectible place, and to flip through the albums. You'd flip through them all, push them back, go to the next one, flip through them all, then you'd pull one out, look at it. Sometimes you lay it to the side, possibility, flip through some more. That's some of the best ones. You love Beetlejuice? Yeah, she played. I forgot that. She played on Beetlejuice, Dusty says. Okay. But, God bless her memory. She gave us a lot of entertainment, and death is always hard. And I hate that for her family and fans and friends. But that's the album spotlights tonight. The Pyromania, Tesla, Mechanical Resonance, and this great AC/DC album. Now, I have some other albums, but it was a tough choice. I'll tell you, my vault, and I've got more than rock too, by the way. You're going to be a little shocked, I think. When I looked through the vault, and I didn't pull out everything, just about everything. And I've got some picture discs. I think I still got them somewhere. Because I did get rid of some things, but not the albums. I knew albums I wasn't going to get rid of. There was a couple albums I forgot I had. I didn't know I had that. I have 2. I knew I had 1. I didn't know I had the second Vinnie Vincent Invasion album. I'll show that in a couple of weeks. I don't have everything, but every album I have means something to me. And I never got rid of them. I still have them. So I've got the stack. And you remember you used to carry, well, you got to be old like me to remember this. You go to, I used to do a little bit of, playing music for parties and stuff, or just friends hanging out. When they say, hey, bring some music. Nowadays, we just bring the music, right? In those days, you take the milk crate, right? Perfect for it. And you put some albums down in there, and you carried the milk crate and your turn, or if they had one, probably they had the turntable. And oh, by the way, I told you I'm going to probably get a monitor for the studio with my award for 35 years. They had a turntable in there, and I was tempted, but I wouldn't use it as much in the studio as I would the monitor. So I think I'm gonna get the monitor. But we'll do another spotlight next week, and each one, as I said, has a story for me. May not mean anything to you, but it's fun to talk about. So, do you have an? In fact, I need to get this one framed. The Pyromania. I need to get it. It's going to be on the studio wall. But we'll have one that we'll put up our albums of the week on the wall. We'll have a spot for them. Do you have an album or something like that that means that to you? Do you there's an emotional attachment to that album, and even beyond the music, which I love the music on that album, but because of what happened and because of memories I have of that, and thank goodness, as I was looking through the vault, I have a ZZ Top album that I also listened to with my best friend. There may be one other album. Everything else was gone. I don't even know. You know how it is. You don't remember who bought what. You bought it together. So I don't know where all them albums ended up. I mean, I just wasn't going to go ask the family for that. That happens. And I really wished I had because I like to save them. Now, I also have in the possession, and I've saved them all these years, my wife's dad was big into country music, and there's quite a few albums that were rescued of his, and he has his initials on them. Some of them got sold out after he died by, we'll say, evil people ripping a family off. But we rescued some iconic albums, and I hadn't looked at those in a number of years. But we have those, and we'll mix in country as well. Yes, there's a little disco. And a little metal and a little pop. And you go through the years of our lives. But I just love these albums. To get them out, man, it just feels good. And I'm going to go and look. There's a couple of albums I want to go look for. A few years ago, I had a friend. It was his birthday. He's a musician. I actually asked him to be a part of this show at one point, and maybe in the future we'll be able to do that. We have a very similar love of music, and for me and him, we figured out that Tesla was our median line. Like we both love Tesla, and then this way we like a lot of albums. This way, I like a little bit. He goes really heavy. Very heavy, like Pantera. I'm not a Pantera fan, but that's okay. I'm not putting them down. Just wasn't a fan. So anyway, it was his birthday, and I thought I want to get him something to put on his studio. He has a studio where he records music. So I went to a place in town that has albums that you can flip through, and I found a really awesome copy of Van Halen's "Women and Children First." And went to Michael's, I think it was. They have some nice album cover top things that you can put those in. They're really nice. They're not cheap. And I brought it to him. I said, put this on your studio wall. And the year before that, I bought him a Slash picture. He's a big Guns fan. And, excuse me. I bought him that for his birthday. And that's fun to do. That's really fun to do. But anyway, I just want to come on tonight. My voice is not great. You can tell it's hard to do the second show. And so if you can stand it, I can stand it. I'll be on for a few more minutes. We'll talk about whatever. As far as music news, I don't think I heard anything extra today. The ongoing saga between Brett Michaels and the rest of the band in Poison. He says, it wasn't over money. They're blowing that up, and the truth is always somewhere in the middle about that. But he's going on the road with Tesla. He's going to roll with Tesla. So we already announced that Motley Crue got the legal victory over Mick Mars. Some people be not happy about that. I did go and listen, or I listened to a little bit, but Slash, I talked about this a little bit. New music coming. They have said they have written a ton of music. So if you're a Guns N' Roses fan, uh, they have getting ready to release another single or two. I think I went back and listened to some that they've dropped here in the last few years. Not bad. Um, John Corabi says there's no bad blood between him and Motley Crue at all. Um, oh, I know what it was. Dave Mustaine. Here's some news for you. Frontier Records uh, says that they believe that Dave Mustaine's, you know, Megadeth's new album might be a number one. They're trying to get fans to definitely buy it. That that they think they've got a shot at being number one with that. This is the last. You always hear this. Who knows? The last album, the last hurrah for Megadeth. Big tour, last album. My understanding is it's really good if you like that kind of music. I like some Megadeth. Um, but they believe that they're going to be able to hit number one with that. And look that up in a second. Peter Criss on Ace Frehley's absence from the Kennedy Center Honors. I was grieving so much that my heart hurt a lot. That's sad. Yeah, the great Ace Frehley. Who else? There was a. Oh, Dave Mustaine also said he would like for Metallica and Megadeth to tour together before it's all over. I don't think that'll happen, but maybe they can do a one-off show or something. I don't think that's going to happen. Now Ricky Rocket from Poison is saying he has been in contact with Bret Michaels, and they're going to do something in 27. They're going to call it the 40+1 tour, 40 years since the debut album. What else? Brian May. I'm a big fan of Brian May, but he says Queen rules out coming to the U.S. because it's a dangerous place at the moment. Come on, Brian. England's not a dangerous place? Come on. That's a cop-out, dude. I'm sorry. I'm disappointed in you saying that. We got a couple of hot spots in the country. He's trying to label the whole country as dangerous. Come on. After the great John Sachs, they have a single called My Guitar to arrive in February. So starting Sunday, at some point, it'll be released. Of course, after his death. I definitely want to check that out. I love John Sachs. What an amazing. If you could go back and you could watch the 1983 festival that they were with, where they played Crying in the Rain, and watch his guitar work in that, it's really just about all about John Sachs. I know what that was. I can't remember what the festival was now. I know the name of it. But of course, Sharon, she says there will ever be another Ozzy Blanken Osbourne in this industry again. Well, of course not, Sharon. He's dead. I know what she's saying, but come on. All right. I don't think there's anything else here. I did see this earlier today. One more. Dave Mustaine on choosing musicians for Megadeth. I've never hired anyone that was a friend. I didn't know Dave had any friends. He's always angry. He's gotten better over the years, but that's so he could fire them. And Sharon Osbourne is in talks with Live Nation to bring back Ozfest. I never went. I wouldn't go, especially not now, but it is the time to strike. Listen, you know as well as I do, Sharon Osbourne, is going to milk the memory of Ozzy dry. If people thought that some other Wendy Dio or whoever had, using all the things that she's done after Dio's death to keep milking that, let me just say, you ain't seen nothing yet, baby. Because if Kiss while they're living milks themselves like that, markets through the gazoo on every way and any way they can, they might be rivaled by what's fixing to happen from Sharon Osbourne. I'm telling you, she will continue to make decisions to make a lot of money off of Ozzy Osbourne. Absolutely. Hopefully, it's all done in good taste. Hopefully, it's all done in good taste. Oh, it's you better watch these bands that are going out because they're not going to be around much longer. If you are a fan of the '80s bands, early '90s, '80s, even late '70s, Def Leppard goes back to late '70s. Those bands are not going to be touring too many more years. So, uh, I think the Rolling Stones hit the high water mark. What were they, 80 something, 80? Some of these guys are in their late 60s. I could see them getting a few more years out of it. The road is hard. The road is hard. Uh, some of them will play like Iggy Pop. I think he will play until he's dead. Yes, broski. How many times I have to tell you? They bought a lot of them, a heck of a lot of them. Now, I will tell you, there are some duds in the repertoire, but there are some, the Alive albums, Destroyer, all that. The Elder sucks. I know all these people that keep trying to build up the Elder, like the Elder is somehow like it's a cult thing now. I'm sorry, it sucks. The Elder sucks. I don't like the album. I never will like the album. It's horrible. It's a bad album, but I actually like a little bit of Crazy Nuts. It's there, and I think the reason is because I'm a big fan of Bruce Kulick. But I do like a couple of songs from there. But they went through a dead time of bad albums. I mean, bad until they released that one in '89. What was it, '89, 90ish? That album that was really heavy and a little dark. What was the name of that album? I can't think of it. That was a good album. I bought that one. I had quit buying Kiss albums a long time before that. And then I don't think they did anything else that was worth having. Just be honest. I'm sorry, boy. They just when it went down, it went down. But they've always been good playing live. I mean, they really have. But they are not known for their lyrical depth. I was at work one day and I was reading the lyrics to one of songs written by Gene Simmons, and it was from the '70s. It might have been early '80s, but I think it was '70s. And I was like, "This is the worst piece." Just from the words, this is the worst piece of trash I've ever seen. I mean, it's like something he wrote in like a lustful moment of 30 seconds. I mean, it was bad. I can't even repeat them. It's horrible. But he was doing Hollywood and stuff. He wasn't too concerned with he wasn't too concerned with, and Paul in his book really rips Gene about that. Of course, he brags on himself. Paul, I saved Kiss. It was me. It was all on me. I kept the machine going. Gene was off doing Gene. Ace was nowhere to be found. Me and Bruce Kulick, we saved it to a degree. To a degree, yeah. But boy, he likes to pat himself on the back. uh, well, for lyricism, yes. I will say this. I'm a fan of Ace Frehley and Bruce Kulick's playing, and Paul Stanley is an accomplished player. Honestly, as a rhythm player, for all the dancing around and stuff that he does, he plays really well. But no, they're not. They're not considered. Nobody's coming to Kiss for the song, right? They're not in the studio going, "Hey, could you write us a new hit song?" No, nobody's doing that. They're not writing "We Are the World." But you know what? They're not trying to be that, broski. They don't care. That's the funny thing about it is they're not even trying to be that. They don't care. Uh, when I listen to music, a lot of times I listen to music because I like the sound of it. Then I dive into the lyrics. Sometimes I'm not looking for the deeper meaning. Sometimes, but like I said, albums that I was showing tonight, there might be a song there that really touches me. It may not touch anybody else that way, but that's because of something that's going on in my life. And, I just really, that's the way I'm kind of geared, songs become a moment in time that we can pinpoint memories, good and bad. And they're, you hear that song, and it takes you right back. I mean, hearing, smells, taste, those are very important senses for us. And we remember where we were at when we hear a song, some songs. And, those are very iconic albums for me. I got to change the background. I have replaced all the logos. We are the Southern Patriots podcast. No Fried. Fried is gone. But on this background, I haven't changed it yet. And I'm going to have to change the song because it's got it in there. Or I may just use it. Who cares? But we are the Southern Patriots podcast. New logos on everything, bringing all boats together. We're still Wolf Nation. We're still Cornbread Nation. But the overall, it is, and I'm going to change the background back here. We're Southern Patriots podcast. And it more aligns with who we are and what we are. Nothing against Fried, but that is being used by Rob, and it's confusing to people. And we're just kind of moving on. And fried food's bad for you. So it just doesn't fit for me anymore. And so we're just and I even talked about just doing Patriot Nation, kind of keep them all the same. But I like the Southern Patriot podcast, and so it works. People, we don't get too far away from what we are, and so that is written in stone. Not changing again. Heck with it. But after it rings, it looks good. It kind of cleans things up. So just for those that know, I probably should have been off by now. My wife's probably wondering where I'm at. But she did come here and say, hey. But yeah, let's see. Let's talk about the weekend. Tomorrow, I told you that me and Paul, Biscuit Boy, will be on early, 8:30-ish. If I do a show earlier, it'd be Patriot News. Talking politics early, and I'll try to squeeze in Southern talk because I've got a lot to say. I've been off the air. Sunday, I'm going to try to get in the history show, get that caught up. Sunday morning, the Word will definitely happen unless Jesus comes and grabs me out of this place. Sunday morning, the Word. I want to get the history show in. Next week, we have guests coming back in. We have a lot. We have several dirt track. I was trying to think. Let me look. I think I've got this. If you bear with me just a second, I'm just going to pull up this quick note I have from me and Dean been passing back and forth. On Monday, which will be another racing show, we have Tyler Norwood. He's going to be with us at 5:45 or so. Another race dirt track driver for our dirt report. On February 7th, is that the 7th? Yes. Dusty with Poff Racing. Am I saying that right, Dusty? Poff? Make sure I'm saying it right. We'll be on, that's a Saturday, and we're going to kick off 10 o'clock. So that's two interviews we have. On February 20th, Harley Holden will be with us. And on February 25th, we're going to have Dwayne Worley will be on with us. February 16th, I kind of got ahead. Michael Lippe will be on with us as well. Most of these are going to be coming in by remote. Worley is in studio. I think the rest are remote due to distance. We also have a candidate for the 14th that he's got to call me back next week. He had supposed to be on today, couldn't make it. Said he'd call me next week, try to get him on. I have a gentleman coming on, but don't have the date yet, that wrote the book about the trial of Buford Pusser. If you remember that story, Walking Tall and all that. That's a movie, but it was based on his life. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation come out with this stupid thing that he quite possibly or probably killed his wife instead of being attacked. It's lunacy. This guy will come in and talk about that. I'm just not buying it. It's ridiculous. But he will be on with us, and he wants to be in studio. So that will happen hopefully in the next couple of weeks. We'll work on that. Another guest, I'm trying to think who it is. I can't remember right now. But we have some other race car drivers will be coming in as well. We will get back together with Miss Amy Petula. We're going to go down to the side of Corpus. We couldn't do it this past week. And this weather's been crazy. We're going to try to do that either next week or the week after. And we got to get done quick. We want to get this done, get back down, and we're going to do some video and pictures from down in the area. So we're going to do that. Miss Kim at Kim's Coffee Talk this morning let me know that she bought the book, which is, you can't see it in the shot behind me. It's over to this way. Mary Fagan King's book that she wrote about her, about Mary Fagan, little Mary Fagan. She had bought the book, and she said after she reads it, she's going to reach out and see if she'll come on. I said she absolutely will. I will definitely watch that interview. Appreciate Miss Kim for doing that. It's a fascinating story, and I'm glad that she's going to help with that. So she saw it on our channel, and thank you, Miss Kim. Appreciate you being a listener too, and I know you're busy, but thanks for. She always pops in, and I appreciate her popping in, and she's really good to pop in on sometimes on Sunday mornings too, as well as Killer Carl. But appreciate all of our podcast friends. We have a lot of things. I've got a stack of stuff to get done. I was making my list today. Lots of things to get done. And this weekend, I'm going to knock out 2 or 3 of them if I can, and just try to get back on track from being sick and the split and everything else that's happened. But the train is rolling ahead. Absolutely. The Wolf Nation Book Club is really in motion. It's all about these authors that we're bringing in, but we're going to start meeting regularly. I'm going to try to do this starting in March. It could happen in February, but probably March, where we're going to have the online get together, the Wolf Nation Book Club. If you'd like to come and talk about a book you have, we'll put you on the air. You can submit it in the chat, but really, if you want to promote something you've read, we want you to be able to share that and promote books. And I'm really going to focus on biographies, true crime, and probably like mysteries and stuff. That's I love and history. That's kind of my genres. But if somebody wants to present something that's fictional or whatever, I don't care. As long as it's not dirty, filthy, nasty. We don't want to promote nothing like that. So, but I want to have fun with that. I love to read, and very soon I need to call up our friends at Three Rivers Publishing and get them back on. We're due for a night with them, and we'll get them back on very, very soon. They're right here in Chickamauga as well. There's a couple other people I'm trying to get. I've got a politician in New York who has agreed to come on. I need to reach out back to him. He was supposed to give me some dates that he could do. He's MAGA. He's MAGA. And he's right there. Hey, Lucid Libertarian. Thank you for the heart there. And I like the name, Lucid Libertarian. Sounds like an interesting dynamic. But he's supposed to be on. I reached out to another guy. He hasn't got back with me yet, so we'll see. We're always working the phones, as they say, trying to get people that we like. We don't just fill slots. We're looking for people we find interesting and that offer something to the table, something that you can learn from, something that's interesting. Everybody has an interesting story. In fact, Miss Jenna, her husband and son are, like I say, into racing, and we're going to get together about that. So that's a whole nother dynamic. So you get into one thing, and then your podcast surfing. Thank you for stopping by the Southern Patriot Podcast. I'm Dave, aka Cornbread Man, and we appreciate you stopping by. We talk about a little bit of everything on this thing. Right now, it's music night. I've been talking about Def Leppard, and I was kind of wrapped up. My voice has been bad. My voice has been bad. I did 2 shows today, and I'm just trying to get through. But I'm kind of winding down. But this is my sound stage. We talk about music, but we're on every day. Every day. Thanks for stopping in. I'll give you a follow back. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate you. And don't know what your interest is, but we do a lot of different kinds of things. I am conservative. I'm not cultish, but I am conservative. If that makes sense. I'm willing to talk about issues without losing my brains, Well, it would be, but because I'm broadcasting across multiple streams, if you call, nobody will hear you. So I will do a a Podbean only, and love to have you call in. I need to start doing those again anyway. I may do that over the weekend, but I'd love to talk conservative or libertarian or whatever you want to talk about. But I'd love to. I'm going to be able to do calls here soon on the show. I can through Podbean. It is possible with StreamYard, but it's a little herky jerky. I'm going to invest in some new stuff, and we're going to start doing at times call-ins. I definitely want to add to that. When we have guests, politicians, we want to be, especially, or whoever they are, we want to be able for people to ask them questions. And thank you for those that put the questions in the chat today. But we definitely want to have the call-in. It is something that people want. I do get called. I've had people call me from all over the place on Podbean. Yeah, if you come live on the I could take you on, but it doesn't cross over into StreamYard. So nobody else that's online right now in the show would hear you talking, just me. So what I would have to do, and I just need to get a board that does that, and that will balance everything out. So we're going to do that though. But I'd love to talk to you. Absolutely would love to talk to you. Please get back with me, and I would definitely love to talk to you. I love to do call-ins. I hadn't done it in a long time, but I've took calls from Russia, India, different places. Love to do that. And thanks for everybody stopping by tonight from the different platforms, Rumble and YouTube and Facebook and Kick, Twitch. Who else? Who to leave out? Instagram. God bless you, Instagram folks. Y'all are blessings. Appreciate you. For being around. You're awesome. And yeah, Mixer. I don't have one. We just run through the StreamYard, but we also run through Rumble. I was looking today. That's absolutely next step for us. We just keep investing in the podcast. We've grown a lot in coming up on 2 years. Grown a lot. It will continue to grow. Thankfully, praise God, because of great listeners and followers, and we appreciate it. It's not work for us. We enjoy what we're doing, but we definitely appreciate all the support. And of course, like I said, we went through a division. My co-host went his way, I went mine. I had a lot of changes to do. It took a lot of work, and it takes a little time to get everything done, to stuff like that. Yeah, I think we would get along, but I'm a libertarian and ruffle feathers of those on the right and the left. I love it. Doesn't bother me a bit. As I said, I am conservative, but I'm not a zombie. I'll put it that way. I take things the way I feel about them. And even if we fully disagree, Lucid, I wouldn't get mad. I have people that are in the chat right now. We don't fully agree on everything, but I consider us friends. And all I ever ask is that we don't make it personal. That's absolutely what you just said. Mutual respect. I will not attack you on your position. I will try to, we might reason with it. We might talk about it, but mainly I will listen a lot. I will listen because I'm not here to tell you how to think. You're a human being. We can exchange thoughts and ideas and reasons and all that, but I hate what we're at right now. People just call each other idiots. And, both sides are guilty of a lot of that. The extreme right and left. Theirs is just as radical on the extreme right as there is left. I'll say it. I don't care. I've had more MAGA, hardcore right MAGA, not MAGA, but hardcore right MAGA attack me as I have anybody else. Not on the podcast here, not so much as not on the air, but I've had things left. I've had comments, so that's fine. I don't care. I'm a big boy. Just how big a boy are you? I do better get off of here. My voice, I tell you, this is going to be a trial as I go. I am treating it, resting it, doing all those things. but about 2 shows is max for me right now. You know me, I'll do 3 or 4 shows, 5 shows even a day. Uh, 3 shows if I'm doing morning show. Through the week, we do the morning show. It's 3 shows today. This is the third show, but I had hours in between the first and the second, and my voice is about gone. So same here. When people resort to insults and personal attacks, that usually indicates a small mind not willing to actually have free speech discussions that differ. Yeah. Listen, I just I try to be respectful of all, and I have a lot of different kinds of friends. I have liberal friends. I do. We don't talk politics a whole lot, but if we do, it's with respect. Now, I don't have anybody that has a liberal a background that hates this country. It's not that kind of liberal. So I would say they're the vestiges of the old blue dog Democrat, and my gosh, the hard left would look at them as conservatives today. So they were somewhat conservative in their thinking. In the place I live, Democrats were for a long time very conservative, but yeah, I mean, I got friends that hate politics. They won't even talk about it. I know kind of how they feel. I've got friends that don't vote. I got friends that hate the president. They can't stand him. There's a person I think the world of. I didn't know till yesterday she hates the president, hates him. We never talk about it. We don't. We talk about our kids. We talk about, different things. We talk about the Lord. We don't mention it because it's not profitable. I don't want to lose a friend over political division. If I can, I can't help what somebody else does. I can only do what I do. And as a podcaster, I don't want people to think that they're going to be attacked just for coming in with a different thought. We can disagree with it, but we can be with respect. So I appreciate your. By the way, one of my biggest friends is a libertarian. The musician friend, I didn't say his name out of respect because I didn't ask his permission. He's a libertarian. We don't agree on everything. We were greatly divided on January 6th, but we are friends, and we try to find common ground. And I think that that's the key, right? To try to find some common ground. With some, you can't. I get it. A day in the life of a libertarian is a conservative calling me liberal and a liberal calling me Republican. You're stuck in the middle. Whatever happened to the Green Party? I know they're still out there. They used to be moving. They never won much, but remember the lady who won on the Green Party ticket in Georgia? Her daddy was a longtime senator or something like that. She was radical. She got bounced pretty quick, and nobody. Jill Stein. That's not the name I'm thinking of, but I like where you're going with that. It wasn't Jill Stein. She's African American. What was her name? Oh my gosh! A lot of people just voted for her because that was his daughter, and she was saying the things they wanted to hear. But the last I heard of her, she was Green Party. And thank goodness to the good Lord above, Stacey Abrams is not running for governor. My gosh. I was so sick of having to hear all those political ads for her. No, and I'm no Brian Kemp fan. I can't stand it. I'll say it. So let's get better choices in Georgia. What area of the world do you come from, Lucid? What state? They fizzled, I think. The green agenda has proven worse for the environment. Oh, yeah. It was all a joke anyway. The Green New Deal. Remember they went from global warming to climate change? Remember when Al Gore would show up and it would snow and he's trying to talk about global warming and it would snow? Salem, Oregon. All right. Across the country. I listen to a podcaster from time to time in Oregon. I really like listening to him. We don't agree on everything anyway, but he's a good guy. I like his show. Bards of War. I don't know if you've ever heard that. On Podbean. Bards of War. Ex-military, I think. I like listening to him. I ain't listened to him in a while. My phone tells me I need to get caught up. Oh, all right. My wife is telling me she is ready, I think, to go to bed, so I must help her. So I will. I'll be going in a minute. And hey, hold on. I'm coming. Al Gore, 30 years ago, I should have been extinct from Ice Age, but you are correct. The sky is falling. The ozone, the polar ice caps. Oh my goodness. We're doomed. We won't last 7 years. Oh, my voice is not going to make it. I got to go. Take care. God bless. I enjoyed talking to all of you. We'll have another music show next week. Get back on track. That will be Tuesday night. Tuesday night. And what band? Not going to tell you. Surprise. Surprise, surprise. But it'll be, I got 3 bands in mind. And we'll start talking about them. Take care, everybody. Good night. Yes, we will, Lucid. God bless. I'll give you a follow. We'll keep up. And everybody have a great night. Here's my amphitheater top song. I like it. It just reminds me of a good, with it cold and snowing right now. It reminds me of being out on the grass, sitting, listening to a good old band in the stage. My talk show is on Talk Show Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Oh, thank you for that. All right. I will, I'll give a listen. I'll reciprocate. Thank you so much. Take care. Hey! Live from the shade.